You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans, we've got huge news. I am so excited to tell you that finally Matthew Atkinson is back to B&B. In September, we're getting Thomas Forrester back in LA. If you haven't heard, he's going to be back on our screens, and his return is sure to shake up some things, including some possible couple swaps. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. We're going to talk about some major couple shakeups that may happen, that may be triggered by Thomas's return and other recent events. And be sure to click that subscribe button if you're not following us. All right, so amazing news. It's confirmed Matthew Atkinson is back. He's filming at Bold and the Beautiful as Thomas Forrester. Here's a look at photos of him playing cornhole at the new studio where B&B has moved to shoot. So with Matt Atkinson back filming, that means he's going to be on air in like three to 5 weeks. So it will be September. No doubt fans are thrilled. I know I'm thrilled. Everybody's been demanding to know, where's Thomas? When's he going to be back? With Matt Atkinson's character returning, this can be one of two things. It can go one of two ways: short term, long term. Let's talk about those possibilities. The worst case scenario, honestly, is Thomas comes back with Paris just long enough for them to get married at the Forrester mansion, and then Thomas leaves LA again with Paris, and the exit is permanent. So just because they're making a big deal out of him coming back, I don't trust Brad Bell. I'll just say that. Because if you remember, Bold and the Beautiful brought back Wyatt Spencer long enough to hand over the keys to the beach house and say, oh, I'm off to live my best life out of LA. So they brought Darren Brooks back for closure, to wrap things up in a neat little bow, and then they wrote him out. That would stink if that's what they're doing with Matt Atkinson, because fans have been waiting on Thomas to come back. The best case scenario is Matt Atkinson is back. He's on contract as Thomas, and he's sticking around. And if so, that's going to change a lot of things for a lot of characters. One thing is for sure, Hope Logan will be absolutely thrown for a loop when Thomas returns. And by the way, Diamond White has shown no signs that she is returning. So she's on other projects. So that doesn't mean that she's not back for one or two episodes to get married to Thomas and leave. But long term, Diamond White is busy with other projects, just by the way. So a lot has happened in Hope's life in Thomas's absence. Hope is engaged to Carter Walton. She's on this emotional roller coaster ride with Liam Spencer. And don't forget, Thomas, as far as we know, is engaged to Grace's daughter, Paris. So the psycho doctor that scammed Liam is set to be a step-grandma to Hope's son, Douglas Forrester. And we also have to wonder, is Henry Samiri back as Douglas? There's no confirmation on that either. I assume that we're going to see father and son, unless Thomas is only back to say, pick up his mom, Taylor Hayes, who's crushed because Ridge Forrester dumps her, and then Thomas and Taylor leave town again. That's a possibility for an in and out with a little bit of closure. We got to think about all these things that Brad Bell might be doing to us. That's another bad possibility, that this is a flash in the pan and not a long-term return. No doubt Thomas is going to want to thank Liam for saving his sister Steffi's life. I do wonder if we're going to hear anything about how Paris feels about what her mom Grace did. But also, when Thomas returns, Hope may start to feel a tingle. Her old feelings for Thomas might return when he does, if he's sticking around. If you remember, it was actually Thomas that dumped Hope because she turned down his proposal. So he may be stunned to see a ring on her finger that Carter put there when they've only been dating 5 minutes. I do think Hope really loved Thomas, and I think that Hope would still be with Thomas now if she could, if he hadn't left town. When he and Paris came back, if you remember, Hope tried to get him to dump Paris and reunite with her. So I'd be stunned if Hope didn't have some big feelings about Thomas's return. And that means Carter should be worried, especially if Paris isn't back with him and if he's sticking around. If Thomas comes back single and reveals his engagement to Paris is over and he's staying in LA, Hope may want to be with Thomas again and might find herself drawn right back in. And that would be one couple shakeup that could lead to another, because Carter might drift over to Daphne Rose, who's back in the mix now. The timing on all this is very interesting. I could even see Daphne and Thomas conspiring to split up Carter and Hope. I would totally be down to see a scheme like that. We all know Thomas can be the bad boy at times. And if he's coming back for Hope, I could see him plotting with Daphne. And let's be real, Thomas should know Daphne because she is very good friends with his sister, Steffi. It would make total sense. If you remember, Daphne first came to LA because Steffi asked her to come split Carter and Hope up. So this time it could be Thomas conspiring with Daphne. And there are sparks between Carter and Daphne, and I feel like Hope has still got a place for Thomas in her heart. Plus, I just don't see Hope and Carter as endgame. I never have. It was an Insta thing. It just felt very contrived. Also, there's a ton of Thope shippers out there who would love to see Hope to reunite with Thomas. It would be great for ratings. And of course, Hope has gotten close to Liam more in recent days, but Ivy is head over heels in love with Liam, wants to rekindle with him. I'm betting Ivy goes to see Liam soon and tells him how she feels about him. And Ivy, of course, is going to be floored to hear the whole Grace faking Liam's brain cancer thing. So we could see Liam and Ivy sparking. Hope may be leaning towards Liam, but I think he could lean towards Ivy. She could be in the mix. Thomas is back, so we could have a 3 or 4 way couple swap, which would be very interesting. And of course, Hope is still engaged to Carter, at least for now, but I do suspect Thomas's return could throw things out of whack for Hope, for Liam, Carter, Ivy, and Daphne. Aside from rearranging love interests, Thomas has another issue to address when he's in LA. He needs to confront his dad, Ridge, about breaking his mom, Taylor Hayes' heart once again by going back to Brooke Logan once again. You know Thomas is going to be upset with his dad, Ridge. We know Steffi's going to be really upset too. Thomas should be back in LA a little before Steffi returns. Jacqueline Wood is currently on maternity leave after having her 5th child. She hasn't yet confirmed the birth, but she's way past her due date, and generally she doesn't let people know until several weeks after she's had the kid. She should be back sometime in September, like late September, maybe early October. And when Steffi's back, she's not going to like it that Ridge broke his promise to Steffi that he would never break her mom Taylor's heart again. Yet that is exactly what he is doing this week, unless they drag it into next week. So I do suspect there is tons of drama all over the place when Thomas Forrester returns. I'm just really hoping this isn't Brad Bell bringing back Matt Atkinson for just a hot minute to tie off loose ends before they write him out permanently like they did to Wyatt Spencer. So here's hoping Thomas Forrester is back for good. We will let you know more when we find out if he's on contract or if it's a drive-by.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.